The sixth candidate is Eduardo Gutierrez-Prieto. Wow. He came with fans. And so you will be talking about harnessing mechanical instabilities of rotating structures towards the development of versatile centrifugal microfluidics devices.
That's exactly right.
I took 180 seconds to say that. So, and you worked on this at the Flexible Structures Laboratory with Professor Pedro Reis.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes, as much as possible.
Great.
Highly motivated after him.
No. You will be great. Eduardo, it's your turn.
Thank you. One day, I was in my way to the mountains for a hike, and I was suffering in the bus because we were taking some turns, and I was struggling to not get sick. But someone started to laugh like crazy. So I turned around, and what I saw, it was a bunch of kids playing a very interesting game. What they were doing is fully relaxing their bodies, and then letting it go with the accelerations of the bus while we were taking the turns. So you can imagine, they were basically sliding to the side, sliding to the front, bending backward all over the place. It was hilarious to see. What these kids were doing, without really knowing it, was exploiting fictitious forces for fun. Fictitious forces, fake forces, is something we are all very familiar with. It's that experience that we feel when you are driving a car and suddenly a pedestrian crosses in front of you. What do? You hit the brakes, and when you do that, you feel as if there was a force pushing you to the front. That is a fictitious force. And of course, engineers have known about these loads for centuries. That's why when we design airplanes, cars, trains, it doesn't matter what, we do it in a manner that it will not crash down when we accelerate. However, I'm not a classical engineer. I want to be like those kids that embrace those forces for fun, but instead, I want to use them to enhance the functionality of any system that accelerates. That's why one day, I went to my boss with the idea, and I asked him, hey, can I buy this very powerful and expensive motor? He said, no, buy 3. He loved the idea. So now in our lab, we have basically 3 motors with which we can make some disk spin in a very accurate manner. So we can accelerate it, we can slow it down at will, in a way that we can replicate the forces those kids were experiencing in the bus, but now in the lab. And basically, we can put the camera on top and see what happens to anything we make rotate. It can be an object, structure, a liquid, a mechanism, it doesn't matter what. Isn't it wonderful? Well, I can almost read your minds. Who cares? Well, I do. Because let me tell you a secret. Imagine you have a tiny box, okay? And there is something in that box. You know what it's inside, because you know how it reacts to accelerations. What can you do? It's a magical trick. You can take your box, and at the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, shake it in the appropriate manner. You just made something wonderful happen inside, because you know how it behaves. So one possibility is taking a full laboratory and put everything inside that box with the shape of a disk, and by making it rotate, we can run different chemical reactions. We can open and close valves. We can make different fluids come together and react. So basically, by the end of my PhD, I hope I will be a bit more like those kids that were embracing fictitious forces for fun. But instead, I will be exploiting them to be able to run a blood test in my hand. Thank you.